Hello, witches and wizards, and welcome back to Potterwatch. Another episode, another Friday's here. So, of course, we are breaking down Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone chapter by chapter. This is the 10th episode of this type of video. I think we're on episode 18 now of the actual series. Again, just want to say thank you all so much for support on each video we're doing on this. We're having good discussions, we're having a lot of fun. I am, especially, and I'm glad you guys are also enjoying it. Again, no episode was on Wednesday, just a bit of slow news. I was hoping Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to be announced maybe at the PlayStation event. Summer Game Fest is today, so you never know, we might get a bonus episode over the weekend because Hogwarts Legacy 2 is announced today. We will see, but of course, as always, leave your comments and thoughts on the chapter. Go subscribe to the channel, and of course, if you've not already, go check out the main channel, Harry Potter Explained, for all your fun Harry Potter videos, news, gameplay, anything you want, it's all over there. Just go there. So yes, we are on chapter 10, which is over the halfway mark now. It's 17 chapters, so we've sort of broken that halfway mark last time out in chapter 9. And yet we are here, chapter 10, Halloween. Really good chapter, this, of course. Not just that it is Halloween, a momentous occasion, but we also obviously have Wingardium Leviosa, a bit of swishing and flicking. Of course, we have the troll. And as we'll go through the series, obviously, a lot of things do happen on Halloween. I mean, starting off, this is technically the 10-year anniversary of the murder of James and Lily Potter. And something not really mentioned, you'd think it would be like a massive sort of like day. In the actual Wizarding world, like the 10-year vanquish of like Voldemort's falling. Harry Potter, like people celebrating like the Harry Potter Day, but no, but there's not. There's no sort of like, oh, it's Harry Potter Day. As McGonagall said sort of in chapter 1. I won't be surprised today is known as Harry Potter Day. It's sadly not. It's Halloween. Of course, next time out we'll learn that it's Nick's death date. He's 499th in this one. And each year, something big happens on Halloween. Obviously, I've seen before people say, is it like a curse sort of day, like another one of those at Voldemort things where something bad always happens on Halloween? But I don't think so. I mean, the Chamber of Secrets is sort of bad, but I mean, Sirius Black, that thing technically isn't bad. I mean, in the fourth one, it's just like the Triwizard Tournament and Harry's name comes out. Is that bad? It probably is. I don't think that anything really happens in the next three on Halloween. So, of course, last time out we had Harry getting on the Quidditch team, do his little Quidditch practice, and we had the sort of nighttime adventure with Fluffy. Seeing the three-headed dog Hermione not very happy, coming up with a great line of could have been killed or worse, expelled. So yeah, let's just get into chapter 10. So Malfoy couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Harry and Ron were still at Hogwarts for the next morning, looking tired, but perfectly cheerful. Indeed, the next morning they thought, yeah, it was a great adventure, we want more of them. And of course they were discussing what it could be. It's either really valuable or really dangerous, or both. And that is very true. It is very valuable. It can turn metal into gold because we know it's the Philosopher's Stone, and it is really dangerous. It can, in the wrong hands, can be a deadly weapon. In terms of like giving Voldemort the elixir of life, ensuring he lives on, etc., etc. So well done, guys. It is both of that. It is valuable or dangerous. And Harry goes, or both. So you are correct. Well done, Harry Potter. But all they knew for sure, it was about 2 inches long. They didn't have much chance of guessing what it was. Neither Hermione or Neville showed the slightest interest. All Neville cared about was never going near that dog again. I'd love to hear that conversation. Neville, like, guys, we can't ever do that again. It's like, oh, well, Neville, but you, to be honest, mate, you weren't actually invited. But yeah, sure, pal, we won't do that again. And a bonus for the boys where Hermione is now just not speaking to them. And obviously, by the end of this chapter, they're going to be the bestest of friends, the three best friends anyone can have. But they're very happy now. All they really wanted now was a way of getting back at Malfoy. And to their great delight, such a thing arrived in the post about a week later. As the owls flew into the Great Hall, everyone's attention was caught by a long, thin package carried by 6 screech owls. Harry was just as interested as everyone else. What was in the large parcel? It was a maze when the owl saw down, dropped it right in front of him, knocked his bacon to the floor. So obviously in the book, it's just one owl. I think it's Hedwig, and it's like, that's a broomstick, Hedwig. Like, you've just got it in your mouth, like between your talons or something. Like, that's impressive. But no, in the book, it's 6 owls, because it's a big package. Obviously, it drops at Harry's. Not the bacon to the floor, though. typical. Can't have, you get something nice, you can't have two things nice, so your poor bacon gets thrown to the floor. They hardly footed away when another owl dropped a letter on the parcel. Harry ripped open the letter first. Like, I'm not being funny. Kids don't do that. Kids, they unwrap the present. Then they're like, if you get cards for your birthday, no one's opening the cards first. You rip all the big open present, and then you open the cards. But no, Harry is a bit more mature than all of us lot. The letter did say, "Do not open a parcel. It contains your new Nimbus 2000. But I don't want everyone knowing you've got a broomstick, or they'll all want one. Oliver will meet you on the Quidditch pitch tonight at 7 o'clock for your first training session. Professor M. McGonagall." And it's like, like I just imagine like the school kick-off, like, no fair, he's got a broom. Why can't we have a broom? Just crying, whinging, all that good stuff. Ron moaned enviously. Nimbus 2000? I've never even touched one. Oh, all right, Ron, yeah, they're only just out. Like, I'm not surprised you've not touched one. They've only just been released. And obviously, the word Nimbus 2000, we've gone into this before. It's like, it's weird it is with Nimbus 2000 because it's 1991. 2000 sort of insinuates, because especially when they bring up a 2001, like how they've been bringing it, weird. But anyway, they left the hall quickly. Harry wanted to unwrap the broomstick privately before their first lesson, but halfway across the entrance hall, they found their ways barred by Crabbe and Goyle. Malfoy seized the package from Harry and felt it. It was a broomstick, throwing it back to Harry with a mixture of jealousy and spite on his face. And like this, honestly, Malfoy's own worst enemy in this. Every time he gets Harry chucked out, it ends up backfiring on him amazingly, and just he must go like. He just must go back to the dorms with this, just swearing, kicking stuff. Because going, I can't believe it. He was trying to get the boy kicked out. He got on the Quidditch team. Try to get him expelled last night. He's now just got a broomstick. It's like, what can go right? And of course, Malfoy's like, they'll kick you out this time. Because first years I allow them. And Ron just like, you know what, mate? It's not even mine, but I'm going to be a dick. It's not any old broomstick, he said. It's a Nimbus 2000. What did you say you've got a home, Malfoy? A Comet 260? Ron grinned at Harry. Comets look flashy, but they're not in the same league as the Nimbus. And obviously this does not go down with Malfoy well. He snaps back. What would you know about it? You couldn't even afford half the handle. Suppose you and your brothers have to save up twig by twig. Yeah, you know what, Malfoy, I'll give you that. Good comeback. Good comeback indeed. We then get Professor Flitwick paid at Malfoy's elbow. Not arguing, I hope, boys. Oh, we are. Yes, we are. I want to hit this guy with my broomstick. But no, Potter's been sent a broomstick, said Malfoy. Yes, that's right. At this point, Malfoy just what do you mean that's right? Like, you've let this happen? That's Harry Potter. You're like, oh. No, yeah, Malfoy must have the worst first year ever. Professor McGonagall told me all about the special circumstances. And what model is it? A Nimbus 2000, sir. Trying not to laugh at the horror of Malfoy's face. And it's really thanks to Malfoy here, I got it. I've always loved that line. Like, yeah, Malfoy, you must realise I'm my own worst enemy, aren't I messed up that bad. This guy's getting everything because of me. And I was like, well, it is true. Harry Shorter was reached the top of the marble staircase. If he hadn't stolen Neville's Remembrall, I wouldn't be in the team. And then, of course, good old Hermione pipes up with, so I suppose you think that's a reward for breaking rules? In an angry voice. I thought you weren't speaking to us, said Harry. Yes, don't stop now. It's doing us so much good. And you know what? Since you stopped speaking to him, he has got a broomstick, so yeah, it's doing him good. It's like, obviously, Hermione at this point still, really stuck up, like, rules can't be broken, but really, everything good back comes from these guys. Obviously, all the stuff they do, all the investigating, it's from rule breaking, By the end of this chapter, like, Hermione's a completely different character, she's not afraid of rule break after this. She's just, it's a very weird seeing Hermione like this, obviously, because you spend, you spend 3 chapters with her like this, but 99% of the other after this, she's just really cool, breaks rules, stuff like that. So it's always on going back to this and seeing her like this, like where she doesn't want to break rules, she's very snotty, like after this, she flips flips on a switch. She's like, oh well, if you didn't break rules, I might have been dead. So maybe we can break rules. And you know what? Maybe dying isn't worse than being expelled. Is actually worse than being expelled. Harry had a lot of trouble keeping his mind on his lessons that day. He kept wandering up to a dormitory and up to a Quidditch pitch. So He rushed down to their wrong side as the broomstick rolled onto Harry's bedspread. Even Harry, who knew nothing about the different brooms, thought it looked wonderful. Sleek and shiny, with a mahogany handle, it had a long tail of neat straight twigs and Nimbus 2000 written in gold near the top. I remember actually getting like a Nimbus 2000 when I was like 4 or 5. It's quite a small, like a kid size one, but it looked brilliant, yeah, the sort of gold writing of the Nimbus, the twigs. Oh, I used to just run around the garden on it, and absolutely one of the best things I ever owned. That, oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, 7 o'clock drew nearer. Harry left the castle towards the Quidditch pitch in the dusk. He'd never been inside the stadium before. Hundreds of seats were raised. And I'm just going 7 p.m. in the UK in October. Trust me, or late September. It's dark. It's not dusk. It's dark at this point. I'm just going to be like, it's pitch black. Shouldn't be dusk. It's dark. But anyway, he'd never been inside a stadium before. Hundreds of seats were raised in stands around the pitch so that spectators were hired to see what was going on. At either end of the pitch were 3 golden poles with hoops. They reminded Harry of the little plastic sticks Muggle children blew bubbles through, except they were 50 feet high. Oh, vivid imagination, Harry. Vivid imagination. Too eager to fly again to wait for Wood, Harry Matty's broomstick kicked off the ground. He swooped in and out of the goalpost and sped up towards the pitch. Nimbus 2000 turned wherever he wanted it with the slightest touch. Just, yeah, obviously compare it to the schoolrooms, night and day, no drifting to the left, no lagging behind. So, Harry's got the best of the best. And obviously, Quidditch is a sport where it can be determining on equipment, like other sports, like a football, rugby, pitch quality and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's like an F1 car, if you're in the best car, you have to be the best driver, but if you're in the best car, you're gonna be doing better 99% of the time. So yeah, Harry having the best broomstick, we'll get onto that when we do play Quidditch next episode. So yeah, Oliver arrived. He was carrying a large wooden crate under his arm. Harry lying next to him. Very nice. I see what McGonagall meant. You really are natural. So we're to go teach them the rules this evening, and then you'll be joining team practice 3 times a week. And we touched on this last time. Why we need to train 3 times a week? You play 3 matches across 9 months. Why do we need to be practicing 3 times a week for a game that it's somewhat fun to do? If it won't Wood just didn't take it as seriously as he did, where it's all tactics. You've always got to play a bit of Quidditch just for a bit of fun, pass the quaffle about. I can understand that, get you out of the castle, have a bit of fun, but yeah, practice 3 times a week for a game you have 3 months apart each time. It seems mental. It's all I'm going to say. I just think it is far too excessive. So yeah, he opened the crate. Inside were 4 different balls. Now, Quidditch is easy enough to understand, even if it's not too easy to play. There are 7 players each side. 3 of them are called chasers. Harry's repeating 3 chasers. And Wood took out a bright red ball the size of a football. This ball's called the quaffle. The chasers threw the quaffle through to each other and try and get it through one of the hoops, score a goal. 10 points every time the quaffle goes through. And yeah, I always, with the quaffle, it's obviously not a magical ball. So when someone throws it through, does it just fall to the ground? Like if you missed a pass, would it just fall to the ground and like budges and fly about? And the snitch obviously does, but the quaffle just seems like a regular ball. So can it just go to the floor? Like how do they? Again, we'll get onto this when the Quidditch game is on. How do slithering? How does the quaffle get back up so quickly after someone scores? Like, does it have a bit of like a slower fall? It's just baffles me all the time, a quaffle. Out of all the balls, the non-magical ones like the one that puzzles me the most. See, and obviously Harry goes, so it's sort of like basketball on broomsticks with 6 hoops, isn't it? What's basketball? Said Wood curiously. And I know, Muggles are so secluded. Wizards are so secluded from Muggles. Like, surely, because some of them know about football. Hagrid definitely does, and I think Ron. It's not. I couldn't tell if Ron was aware of what it was, and he was just arguing with Dean, or if Dean had to explain what football was. But surely you've just heard of basketball, as a sport. Or, if you've walked past schools, or if you can't be that cut off. You've not heard of basketball. It's one of the most popular sports ever. You know, how have you not heard of basketball? God. God, I'm annoyed now. I was just like, yeah, never mind. I'm not. I can't explain basketball to you at all. Like, no, no, no. It's not really like basketball at all either. Really, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a goal. You know, it's not really a hoop. It's a basket. Yeah, you know, you're bouncing a quaffle. It's more like, I mean, if we were really going to do it, I'd say it's more like handball, um, rather than basketball. You know, but whatever. It's getting a bit technical. I know you're an 11-year-old. Now there's another player on each side who's called the keeper. Whoa, the keeper! I was like, oh, a bit like football. What's football? I'm the keeper for Gryffindor. I fire around the hoops, stop the other team from scoring. So 3 chasers, 1 keeper who's trying to remember it all. Like Harry, so far it's not that complicated. You know, 1 keeper. You know, that's something you can relate to in Muggle sports. And they play with a quaffle. So what are they for? You point at the 3 balls inside. I'll show you now. Take this. He handed Harry a small club, a bit like a rounders, but oh god, bit like rounders. What's rounder? I'm going to do this for every sport now. So he gets out rounders, but I wonder if it said baseball bat or something. I wonder what it says in the American version because it's not really a baseball bat because the rounders one quite short and stocky. Like it is a short and stocky baseball bat, but yeah, I wonder what it says. Let me know, Americans. So I'll show you now. Take this. He handed Harry a small club, a bit like a rounder's bat. I'm going to show you what bludgers do. These 2 are the bludgers. He showed Harry 2 identical balls. Jet black and slightly smaller than the red quaffle. Harry noticed that they seemed to be straining to escape. The straps holding them inside the box. Stand back. At once, the black ball rose high in the air and then pelted straight at Harry's face. Harry swung it to back to stop it, breaking his nose and sent it zigzagging away into the air. He zoomed around their heads and then shot at Wood, who dived on top of it. What if that had just hit his face? Like, Wood, I'm not being funny, man. This guy's never played Quidditch. He's never seen this thing. This thing's clearly with some speed. You know, what if he just missed it and it smashed Harry's face in? Like, not being funny. That could have been quite bad. That could have been quite bad, Harry. You almost messed up, and thank God you didn't. But yeah, like Wood, you'd have been in a lot of trouble. Like when Harry's in the hospital with his face all smashed in. You know, maybe just explain what they are. You know, rather than showing him it. But it all worked out well, and I just find the Bludgers the most bizarre thing to have. Like, you know, I understand that. You know, it's just like it's you know even for like 11-year-olds playing that, like the stuff that bludgers can do. We see next year it literally breaks Harry's arm, and you know that's it's a crazy thing to have for like kids. You know, do we have like fake bludgers we could maybe use? I don't know. You know, I mean Hogwarts is not run out for health and safety, is it? But yeah, the bludgers always something. It's just like well, who thought of that as well? Like fair enough, the chaser part, yeah. I mean, you could just have a game with the chasers, really. But then I did look, oh, we need something that could kill people or give them brain damage or something like that. Bludgers, yeah, we'll have them. That sounds good. But they're not good at all. So yeah, that's that so far. The crate strapping them down, so the bludgers rocket around trying to knock people off their brooms. That's why you have 2 beasts on each chamber. Weasley twins are ours. It's their job to protect our sides from the bludgers and try and knock them towards the other team. So it's literally we've got 2 guys who use a bat to try and hurt other people. Yeah, really good sport this. You know, maybe just go around with the bat, hit people on the head. That's definitely a foul. You should not do that. So 3 chasers try to score. The keeper guards the goalpost. The beaters keep the bludgers away from their team. Very good. And then Harry's, have the bludgers ever killed anyone? Never at Hogwarts. We've had a couple of broken jaws, but nothing worse than that. Yeah, so only a few broken jaws, you know. Madam Pomfrey will fix that in a minute, but for the first 20 minutes getting you up there, it will be incredibly painful and you'll be crying and wishing you'd never played Quidditch. But yeah, just a few broken jaws. So there goes. Now you're the last member of the team, the Seeker. That's you. You have to worry about the quaffle or the bludgers, unless they crack my head open. don't worry. The Weasleys are more than a match for bludgers. I mean, they're like a pair of human bludgers themselves. And obviously, I mean, Harry's head does get cracked open by a bludger, or at least a bludger. Well, the beater's Batwing, blooming girl, Cormac McLaggen in the sixth one sort of tries to swing for the bludger, try to show the beaters how to do it, and he literally whacks Harry in the head and knocks him out. Oh, classic. I always love that chapter, and I love that scene, when Harry waits for the hospital with Ron. Oh dear. Um, so then Wood reached into the crate and took out a fourth ball, and compared with the quaffle and the bludgers, it was tiny, about the size of a large walnut. It was bright and golden and had a little flutter of silver wings. This, said Wood, is the golden snitch. It's the most important ball of the lot. It's very hard to catch because it's so fast and difficult to see. It's the seeker's job to catch it. You've got to weaving out the chasers, beaters, bludgers, and quaffle to go it before the other team seeker. Because whichever seeker catches the snitch wins his team an extra 150 points, so we nearly always win. And they make all the this is not what Wood says, but this is what I'm saying. And they make all the other rules and stuff for Quidditch absolutely pointless, useless, and pathetic. And we've all wasted time performing or having this game because, yeah, you're going to win. We might as well just watch two people chase a snitch about a pitch. That's what we could do. And it'd have no sort of impact at all. It's just such a. Why is it 150? Like, honestly, if I was coming with a sport, I wouldn't be up 50 points, 40 points, 30 points, yeah. 30 points, 40, 150. Like, what's the point of everything else going on? Absolutely stupid. Like, there's no full time. Like, the game only ends when you catch the snitch. Just a crazy, stupidly random. And that's Wizards for you. But yeah, obviously before it was they had the golden snitch, like the animal. Like, what? Why is everything a ball? And then you're like, yeah, well, we wanted to create, but we just didn't have a ball, so we're going to use a bird. We're going to set a bird off. So it's like, what? So there's balls and there's a bird. Yeah, yes. Oh, and then Bowman writes like, you know what? The other two things are balls, aren't they? And this bird, we could make a ball like the bird. And people are like, what? No, we need the bird. The bird's the best part about Quidditch. And then obviously the golden snitch did get replaced by the golden snitch. So yeah, that's why Seekers get fouled so much. A game of Quidditch only ends when the snitch is caught, so it can go on for ages. I think the record is 3 months. They had to keep bringing substitutes so the players could get some sleep. Sack every Seeker on that team. 3 months. Like, I had to try and sign a Seeker and just like, is the coach having a sleep? Like, are the fans still there? What's going on? Did the fans just have to give up work, or did these keep coming up like every few days going, is it over yet? No. At that point, the golden snitch does not matter, does it? Let's be honest, because it's probably like a team could be like 5,000 points up if the team's really bad, but the Seekers like, God, we're 20,000 points up. Why are we still playing? Just catch the fucking snitch. But yeah, and obviously we learn about the sort of flesh culture of this snitch. So I wonder if this is a snitch that's already been caught, and like how the actual new snitch, when it's released, is it just they're wearing gloves? What, like, is Madam Hooch that careful? And I'm surprised Hogwarts actually have like brand new snitches for games. Obviously, we know it's the reason with the flesh touch is just to see, if it's contested catch, it'll react. But yeah, I'm saying it's Hogwarts properly. It's school sports. If you've ever played football or anything at your schools, it's never new equipment. It's always the worst, crappiest equipment ever. But Hogwarts, no. We only have the best. So yeah, and then he goes, well, that's it. Any questions? Harry shook his head. He understood what he had to. All right. It's doing it was going to be the problem. We won't practice with a snitch yet. Said we'll carefully shutting it back in the crate. It's too dark, we might lose it. So let's try you out with a few of these. He pulled out a bag of ordinary golf balls. So I wonder if he knows what golf is. Does he know what golf is, or do you think these are like balls? Like, if I went, oh, these are golf balls. What's golf? What? But he knows what golf balls are, at least. A few minutes later, he and Harry were up in the air, Wood throwing the golf balls as hard as he could in every direction for Harry to catch. Harry didn't miss a single one, and Wood was delighted. After half an hour, night had really fallen and they couldn't carry on. The Quidditch Cup are naming it this year. Wood happily Ted Woodhart plays with trust back up for Castle. I wouldn't be surprised if you came out better than Charlie Weasley, and he could play for England if he hadn't gone off chasing dragons. It's like, yeah, maybe he could play for England, and maybe he should. You know, I always wanted to be. Yeah, I was saying this last time, like how Harry. When I was young, I was like, oh yeah, Harry should be a Quidditch player. Really, he should be. Like, definitely scarce dark arts professor. Me growing up now, knowing that, but I was like, yeah, because obviously I was wanting to be football. I just want to play for England, and it must be so easy to play for England because there's only one school, and some people are Scottish, some people are the Irish, some people are Welsh. So really, you're going to need players. It must be hard to recruit. Obviously, like for the actual league where there's like 20 teams or whatever, we must be getting talent from all over the world, you know, from all the other countries. But to play for England, you know, there's not many witch and wizards who play Quidditch professionally. No wonder they're getting trashed by like Pennsylvania in the World Cup because there's one school and only a few people graduate per. You know, there might not even be any graduates at Seeker that year. So yeah, I honestly, anyone could probably play for Neville could probably play for England, to be honest, because there's that little people qualifying to play because the people are graduating. You know, there's not a big wizarding population. It's not like hundreds of schools, thousands of people. You know, like it is for football or any other sport we have. There's literally one school, and you know, there might only be 2 graduates per year if you're lucky from all 4 teams. So yeah, go play for England. It'll probably be easy. Um, Anyway, so it skips a bit of time. So perhaps it's because he was so busy what with Quidditch practice 3 evenings a week on top of all his homework. Harry could barely believe it when he'd been at school for 2 months. The castle felt more like home than Privet Drive had ever done. Oh, which is just brilliant. Like after 2 months compared to 10 years, like yeah, this is the place I belong. So his lessons too were becoming more interesting, and they asking for basics. On Halloween morning, we woke to the delicious smell of baking pumpkin wafting through the corridors. Is the smell of baking pumpkin a delicious smell? I don't know. I mean, this pumpkin obsession, like pumpkin juice should not be a thing. So yeah, conclusion is pumpkin not nice. Pumpkin juice, like what were we drinking pumpkin juice for? That surely doesn't taste nice. Like maybe a pumpkin spice latte thing. I don't even think I like that. But yeah, eating actual pumpkin. I've never actually seen anyone eat an actual pumpkin. I don't think I've seen people carve jack o' lanterns, whatever. Don't think I've actually seen people eat the insides of it. Just chuck it in the bin because pumpkins are not nice. Hogwarts, you bloody weirdos. And Harry think it's a delicious smell. Oh, anyway. Even better, Professor Flitwick announced in Charms he thought they were ready to start making objects fly, something they'd all been dying to do since he made. Again, Neville's toad. So Neville's toad going through the. Does Neville bring this toad everywhere? Like, what's it doing in class? What's Trevor doing? It's sitting in class. Just leave him somewhere. Like, just leave him in the dormitory. I know you're scared of losing him, but why is he coming to class with you? Does Ron actually bring scabbers everywhere? Like, what's going on? Harry's just got Hegwig on his shoulder everywhere. Leave your pets at home. In the dormitory, you don't get to bring Trevor to all your lessons, Neville. Like, I'd make him fly out the window. I feel like Trevor gets so much mention in this book. I think he gets a little maybe in Chamber. I don't know, but I feel like after Chamber, Trevor's dead. Like, let's actually have a look on the Harry Potter wiki about Trevor the Toad. Trevor the Toad. So, um, Trevor the Toad. It says Frog Choir. I don't know if that's meant to be from like that weird Hogwarts mystery. Anyway, yeah, Harry Potter Magic Awakens. So he's mentioned in the Philosopher Stone video game. He's briefly singing. So he's not actually mentioned the Chamber of Secrets books, but he's in all like the actual games, stuff like that. He's apparently singing Prisoner of Azkaban, the film, and he's also apparently in Goblet of Fire, the film. Maybe he's in Goblet of Fire, the book as well. Who knows? But yeah, I feel like he's got a lot of mention in this book. And then after that, like, I can't be arsed writing about Neville, blooming Trevor anymore. I'm sick of the guy. So Flitwick put the class into pairs. Harry partner was Seamus Finnegan, which was a relief because Neville had been trying to catch his eye. Neville catching more strays. Poor Neville. Ron, however, was to be working with Hermione Granger. It was hard to tell who was angry at the two. She hadn't spoke to either of them since the day Harry's broomstick arrived. So she's not spoken to him for a good, what, month and a half? Fair play. Fair play, Hermione. Um, Now, don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing, Squick Flitwick. Swish and flick. And remember, say the magic word properly. It's important to never forget Wizard Barufio, who um, who said S instead of F and found himself on the floor with a buffalo on his chest. And obviously, there's in Hogwarts Legacy, you got the nice little portrait of Barufio with the little buffalo, and he was like rolling on the floor. So it was very difficult. Harry and Seamus swished and flipped, but their feather was supposed to send in the sky was just laying on the desk. Seamus got impatient. They put with his own wand to set fire to it. And obviously, that little line there is where the sort of jokes about Seamus blowing stuff up, with the eye of rabbit, half-string hum, turn this water into rum. And obviously, in this one way, it's Wingard. You ever watch the film? The guy who's playing Seamus got Seamus fingers just starts going. So he starts going Wingard Leviosa, and then he starts going Guard Leviosa, Wingard. He just doesn't say the actual words. He just sort of gives up. And yeah, just obviously from there in each sort of film he blows something up and becomes bigger and bigger. Classic Seamus thing again. Joke there, I guess, but no. It's mad like how quickly they become a lot better at magic, because if you take 2 months and they struggle to do this, they can't do it with a feather. But like by the end of the year, I mean, you actually see Harry cast a single spell in this book. He never casts a spell. It's his first year at wizarding school, and we never see Harry cast an actual spell. Isn't that crazy? That's just mad. Like, what did Harry actually do at Hogwarts in his first year? No one knows, because yeah, just mad. But so Harry put it out with his hat. Ron at my next table wasn't having more luck either. Wingardium Leviosa, he shouted, waving his long arm like a windmill. You're saying it wrong. It's Wingardium Leviosa. Make the guard nice and long. And obviously, it's not as good as the film actually did this better again. Obviously, Rupert Grint and Emma Watson really got acting. No mention of the gar. Just you're saying it wrong. It's not Wingardium Leviosa. It's Leviosa. And then she's Hermione rolled up her sleeves, flipped her wand, and said, "Wingardium Leviosa." Their feather rose off the desk and hovered about 4 feet above their heads. "Well done," cried Professor Flitwick. "Everyone see here, Miss Granger has done it." Ron was in a very bad temper by the end of this class. "It's no wonder no one can stand her," he said to Harry as he pushed her way through the crowd corridor. "She's a nightmare, honestly." Someone knocked into Harry as they hurried past him. It was Hermione. Oh, Harry caught a glimpse of her face. It was startled to see that she was in tears. "I think she heard you." "So?" Ron did look a bit uncomfortable. "She must have noticed she's got no friends." And like Ron's like, "Oh God, she's a bit of a dick, but I've made someone cry. I'm a bit of a bully there." He must like, because Ron, he's like inherently a good person, but obviously people piss him off and whatnot. He does go for or have your pot back. But he must know, oh God, I'm no better than Malfoy there. But yeah, poor Hermione, like, she's got no friend. And that must be, especially at boarding school, you think about how awful it would be. Obviously, you've got Zenobia and Nook in Hogwarts, like with her little gobsnows. She says like no one likes you. It must be awful, like a boarding school where you don't go home, you're stuck with all these people and don't liking you. It's a bit like Neville. I feel like quite bad for Neville in a sense, where it's like he's sort of in between the two groups. He's not like he hasn't really got a true actual best friend. If someone else went to you who's Neville's best friend, I wouldn't be able to tell you. He just become a lot closer to Harry and stuff. But yeah, he's never really in the first like 3-4 books. He's very in the middle and just it's quite sad. Hermione didn't turn up for the next class. I wasn't seeing her all afternoon. I wonder if someone goes check, like she's not turning up for classes. People just presume, oh, she's sick. No one goes looking for her or anything like that. It's like teachers like, oh, she. Anyone heard from Hermione? No, it's cracking without her. Probably a bit peace and quiet. No know it all, knowing insufferable know it all, answering questions. On their way down to the Great Hall for the Halloween feast, Harry and Ron overheard Parvati telling her friend Lavender that Hermione was crying in the girls' toilets and wanted to be left alone. She's like, "Can you cry like that all day?" Over one comment from a dick you don't even like anywhere in Ron. But I guess that thing of like, she didn't even hear about the thing about the friends. But yeah, maybe she's like, "Oh God, I am a bit unbearable." But and Ron looked still more awkward at this. But months later, where the end of the Great Hall, the Halloween decorations put Hermione out. Poor Hermione's like, oh, no one's even come to look for me. And I was like, oh, these decorations. Oh my god, is someone we wrong about? Oh, I don't know. These decorations. So yeah, 1,000 live bats fluttered from walls and ceilings, while 1,000 more swooped over tables. Oh, bloody hell, Bruce Wayne would be terrified by this. Why do we falter? He's like, oh, bats everywhere. Batman's coming, dressed up as Batman for Halloween. And a bit weird that they do celebrate Halloween, isn't it? And they do Christmas, like, we'll talk about that, like wizards. But Halloween's a bit of an odd, obviously people dress up as like witches and stuff, do they trick and treat, or what to wizards, what is Halloween? Obviously, because we're getting it from this perspective, Harry's quite muggle centric, he grew up with muggles, etc., etc. I do wonder, like, what is Quidditch, not Quidditch, Halloween, like the celebration to them, leave your comments and thoughts if there is anything, like if there was any sort of writing done in it. But yeah, other than the bats, over the tables of low black cows making them candles in the pumpkin stutter, the feast appeared suddenly on the golden plates. As it had the start of term banquet, Harry was just helping himself to a jacket potato when Professor Quirrell came sprinting into the hall, his turban askew, terror on his face. Everyone stared as he reached Professor Dumbledore's chair, slumped against the table and gasped, "Troll in the dungeons, thought you ought to know," then sank to the floor in a dead faint. So obviously, again, a bit different from the book, the film, where he comes charging and properly shouting, "Troll in the dungeon! Troll in the dungeon! Thought you ought to know." He just tells Dumbledore. And I don't know how they all heard him. If he said he muttered it to Dumbledore, somehow everyone heard him. And you must think, as like the teachers, obviously we learn in Deathly Hallows, Snape was keeping an eye on him from Dumbledore. So them two obviously know what's going on, and we see Snape sneak off, try and go up the third floor. But all the other teachers must be thinking, well, this is the Defence Against Dark Arts teacher, and he's crying because of a troll. Like, what was he doing in the dungeons? Why is he not at the feast? And it's like, he's just fainting. Should we have this guy's defence? Like, the teacher ever questioned him, like, Dumbledore, these students were meant to be preparing for life and teaching, and allowing them to get owls and news. Do you think we should give him a good teacher? One who doesn't cry about a troll and thing, and actually knows stuff. They're not Harry Potter. They don't matter. No wizarding lives don't matter. But yeah, so there was uproar. It took several purple firecrackers exploding from the end of Dumbledore's wand to bring silence. Prefect, he rumbled. Like, what's a rumble? Prefects. Lead your houses back to the dormitories immediately. And Percy was in his element. Like, I can imagine him like, follow me, come on, guys. Proper like, oh yes, my moment is shining. And he's follow me, stick together first years. No need to fear the troll if you follow my orders. Like, oh, I don't think that's how it works. Like, if the troll was there, but we're following your orders, it's like, Mr. Troll, they're following my orders. So it's like, oh, put my club down. Never mind. Make way. First year's coming through. Excuse me, I'm a prefect. So it was like, yeah, we just go stop you there. We don't care. How could a troll getting? Harry asked. Don't ask me. They're supposed to be really stupid, said Ron. Maybe Peas letting as a Halloween joke. Again, yeah, like, surely, because again, that thing of like, we know about, obviously, Dumbledore and the staff would definitely discuss in the Chamber of Secrets, but do you not think they're thinking, like, how the fuck did this troll getting? In the staff room afterwards, and no one ever thought, oh, maybe it comes out, the guy who told all about it. No one ever thinks, oh, there's a troll's being like, no one sort of talks about it. It's not like a big school thing. Like, surely this should be investigated. Like, report yourself to the ministry. Like, yeah, big dangerous troll going. But probably should have a look into that, an inquest. But it's like, no, next day everyone's forgot about this troll. Harry Potter dealt with it. It's all right, guys. Harry Potter. So yeah, maybe Peas like things a Halloween joke. Where's Peas getting a troll from? You telling me he's like ordered a troll from somewhere? He's just written someone somehow. Like, yeah, get me a troll. I don't know. They passed different groups of people hurrying in different directions as they jostled their way through the crowd of confused Hufflepuffs. No, that's just a group of Hufflepuffs. They're always confused. The Hufflepuffs. What the hell is a Hufflepuff? I've just thought, Hermione. What about her? She don't know about the troll. Ron bit his lip. All right, he snapped, but Percy better not see us. Ducking down, they joined the Hufflepuff going the other way, slipped down a deserted corridor and hurried off towards the girls' toilets. They just made round the corner when they heard footsteps. Percy, it's Ron. Like, why would it be Percy? He's in the dormitory, mate. Like, Ron, you're not very. I don't think you understand this. It obviously wasn't Percy, um, but Snape. He crossed the corridor and disappeared from view. What's he doing? Harry whispered. Why isn't he down in the dungeon with the rest of the teachers? Search me. Quietly as possible, they crept along the next corridor after Snape's fading footsteps. He's heading to the third floor, Harry said, but Ron held up his hands. Can you smell something? Harry sniffed, and a foul stench reached his nostrils, a mixture of old socks and the kind of public toilet no one seems to clean. Like, that is disgusting. Like, oh, God, you know, it's like a train toilet when there's piss everywhere and there's a bit of poo floating. Oh, I went in one of those yesterday. Oh God, that is violent. Yeah, that is that is not nice. I'm telling you that now. That's not a nice not a nice thought or smell, is it? You know, like oh. And then they heard a low grunting and shuffling, falls of gigantic feet. Ron pointed at the end of a passage to the left. Something huge was moving towards them. So if this troll was in the dungeon, how's it managed just to walk up when all the teachers were going there and just magically avoided all the teachers? Like, are they all blind? Oh, that's a troll. But our troll's in the dungeon. That's a different troll. We'll deal with that one later. Like Scooby-Doo-esque, like hiding behind a portrait or putting like a mustache and think, you there? Have you seen a troll? What? That's what. And they all run off. Like, how did no one see it? But there we go. Oh, Snape. How's he not smelling this as well? And the shadows and watched it emerge in the patch of the moonlight. It was a horrible sight. 12 feet tall, its skin was dull, granite grey. Its great lumpy body with a small bald head perched on top like a coconut. I always say it, like, it does look a bit like my dad. I won't lie, in the film, it looks a bit like my dad. It had short legs, thick as tree trunks, with flat, horny feet. Not that type of horny, literal horns. The smell coming from it was incredible. It was holding a wooden club, which it dragged along the floor because its arms were so long. The troll stopped next to a doorway, peered inside. It waggled its long ears, making up its tiny mind, and slouched slowly into the room. The key's in the lock. Also, why is there a key in the lock to a girl's bathroom? Like, you could just lock anyone in there. God, Hogwarts, Filch, sort it out. We could lock it in. Good idea. The edge towards the open door, mouths dry, praying the troll wasn't about to come out. With one great leap, Harry Mash grabbed the key, slam it in. Yes! Flushed with victory, they started to run back up the passage, but as they reached the corner, they heard something that made their heart stop. A high, petrified scream. It was coming from the chamber they just locked it in. Oh no, said Ron, pale as a bloody baron. It's for girls' toilets. What are the odds of that? Like the place they were going, they did, so they knew it was sort of there, but they forgetting the adrenaline of like the troll? Like, cause that's where they were going to find Hermione, so they must know where this toilet was. And it's like, yeah, it was locked with troll. Oh shit, yeah, Hermione. Oh god, we killed Hermione. Oh, guys, let's just run away. Pretend we weren't here. Come up with an alibi. We'll be fine. Hermione, they said together. It was the last thing they wanted to do, but what choice could they have? Wheeling around, they sprinted back to the door, turned the key, fumbling in their panic. Harry pulled the door open and ran inside. Hermione Granger was shrinking against the wall opposite, looking as if she was about to faint. The troll was advancing on her, knocking sinks off the wall as it went. Confuse it, Harry said desperately to Ron. And seizing the tap, he threw it as high as he could against the wall. Throw it at his head, hurt the troll, make it angry, maybe don't do that, actually, yeah. The troll stopped a few feet from Hermione. It lured around to see what had made the noise. It hesitated, then made for him instead. It made for Harry instead, lifting his club as it went. Oi, pea-brain, Ron shouted from the other side of the chamber and threw a metal pipe at it. The troll didn't seem to notice the pipe hitting its shoulder, but it heard the yell and paused, turning its ugly snout towards Ron instead. Harry had time to run around it. And this is a pretty good sort of like introduction. It's nothing major or big, but they're just fighting a troll. It's like, yeah, this fighting an actual troll. You're throwing stuff at it. You don't really get, like the film. You do see the sense, like there's some of the description here. You don't really get the sense the trolls like destroying was. It broke a few sinks, but the rubble, all that sort of thing, like in the book, in the film. Sorry, you don't really get from this description. I don't think. So, come on, run, Harry yelled at Hermione, trying to pull her towards the door. But she couldn't move. She was still flat against the wall, her mouth open with terror. Come on, Hermione, like, we've saved you here. Come on. It roared again and it started towards Ron, who was nearest and had no way to escape. Harry then did something that was both very brave and very stupid. And that, like, obviously, you get that thing of, like, yeah, that sums up like Harry Potter. Like, everything Harry does is very brave and very stupid. Like, anything he does at the end of films and the stories, each book, he's brave but stupid each time. And this, yeah, that if you had to encapsulate Harry Potter in one sentence, that would be it. Um, So he took a great running jump and managed to fasten his arms around the troll's neck from behind. Um, the troll couldn't feel Harry hanging there, but even a troll will notice if you stick a long bit of wood up its nose. And Harry's wand had been still in its hand when he jumped. It gone straight one of the troll's nostrils, like, oh, like, I hope there's no blood on it, Harry, just a few troll bogies, howling with pain. The troll twisted and flapped, failed its club, with Harry clinging on for dear life. Any second, the troll was going to rip him off or catch him a terrible blow with a club. Hermione sunk to the floor in fright. Ron pulled out his own wand, not knowing what he was going to do. He heard himself cry the first spell that came to his head: Wingardium Leviosa. Probably the only spell he actually does know. It's not other than Sunshine Daisies, Buttermellow, Term is stupid, fat troll yellow. Probably not going to do anything. The club flew slightly out of the troll's hand, rose high up in the air, turned slowly over, and dropped with a sickening crack on its owner's head. Good job it didn't land on Harry. That, imagine just Ron knocking out Harry with the troll, with the troll's club. Sounds like something that could probably happen. Um, the troll swayed on the spot and then fell on its face with a thud that made the whole room tremble. Harry got to his feet, shaking out of breath. Ron was standing there with a wand still raised, staring at what he'd done. It was Hermione who spoke first. Is it dead? Don't think so. I think it's just been knocked out. Like, come on, Ron, you have one job. Kill the thing, get it now, hit it with its own club, teach him a lesson, I wonder what would happen if it was dead. What would they do with it? They're just gonna burn it? Like, what do you even do with a troll anyway? Like, again, where does this troll go? Do we shove it in with Fluffer? Who knows? So he bent down, picked up his wand off the troll's nose. It was covering what, like, grey, lumpy drew. Ugh, troll bogies. And that is all I can say to. Ugh. A sudden slamming and loud footsteps made three of them look up. They hadn't realised what a racket they'd been making. Of course, someone downstairs must have heard the crashing of the troll's roar. A moment later, McGonagall had come bursting through with Snape and Quirrell. Quirrell took one look at the troll, let out a faint whimper, and sat quickly back down, clutching his heart. Like, come on, mate, we just defeated this ourselves. We're 11-year-olds. We weren't scared of this thing. Grow up. Of course, we all know it is an act, but still. Snape bent over the troll. Professor McGonagall was looking at Harry and Ron. Harry had never seen her look so angry. Her lips were white. Hopes of winning 50 points for Gryffindor faded quickly from Harry's mind. What on earth were you thinking? Said McGonagall with cold fury in her voice. Harry looked at Ron, who was still standing with his wand in the air. You're lucky you weren't killed. Why aren't you in the dormitories? Snape gave Harry a swift, piercing look. Harry looked at the floor. He wished Ron would put his wand down. Obviously, Snape gave him that piercing look. He's trying to do something legitimate, saying, trying to read his mind, like, what's going on here? Harry's doing a good thing by looking at the ground. Avoiding the eye contact, he'll struggle to do it. When a small voice came out of the shadows. Please, Professor McGonagall, they were looking for me. Miss Granger? Hermione managed to get to her feet at last. And this is why I just don't get. They could be like, look, being in this bathroom, we're a bit upset. Why can't the truth just be a thing? Troll came in here. They were coming to find me to just make sure I was safe. Troll turned up here, which he did. They didn't drag the troll there or anything like that. I just think the truth here would have been absolutely fine. But what do I know here? So we go on with this elaborate lie, which I never understand. Where she's like, I went looking for the troll because I thought I could deal with it on my own. I've read all about them. Which, fair enough. Cool, whatever. Harry and Ron tried to look as though this story wasn't new to them. Obviously, she goes, I thought I could deal with it on my own. If they hadn't found me, I'd be dead. Harry stuck his wand up its nose wrong, knocked out with his own club. They didn't have time to come and fetch anyone. He was about to finish me off when I arrived. Like, what again? Just tell the truth. No, we don't need this lie. And McGonagall's like, what? Well, in that case, you foolish girl, how could you think of tackling a fully grown mountain troll on your own? Hermione hung her head. Harry was speechless. Hermione was the last person to do anything against the rules, and here she was pretending she had to get them out of trouble. Which I don't think they would have been in too much trouble if they just told the truth. You don't get to go into why she's in my bathroom and that was Ron's fault. But anyway, Miss Granger, 5 points will be taken from Gryffindor for this. I'm disappointed in you. If you're not hurt at all, you better get off to Gryffindor Tower. Students are finishing the feast in their house. McGonagall turned to Harry and Ron. Well, I still say you were lucky. Not many first-year trolls. First years could have taken a fully grown mountain troll. You each take and win 5 points for Gryffindors. 5 points, McGonagall. Come on, if this was Snape, he'd be giving 150 to bloody. If this was Dumbledore, I'd get 200. 5 points, and we're only 5 points up. And obviously, Dumbledore will be informed of this. You may go. They hurried out the chamber and didn't speak at all until they climbed 2 floors up. It was a relief to be aware of the smell of a troll. Or is it Ron? Quite apart from anything else, we should have got more than 10 points. 5, you mean, which is take off Hermione's. Good of her to get her in trouble like that, Ron admitted. Mind you, we did save her. She might not have needed saving, we hadn't locked the thing in with her. Or if you hadn't been mean to her earlier on, she ripped the feast, but there we go. Forget about that part. They reached the portrait of the fat lady. And the common room was packed and noisy. Everyone was eating food that had been set up. Hermione, however, stood alone by the door waiting for them. There was a very embarrassed pause. Then, none of them looking at each other, they all said thanks, hurried off to get plates. But from this moment on, Hermione Granger became their friend. There are some things in life you can't share without ending up liking each other, and knocking out a full-grown mountain troll is one of them. And that almost feels like the end of the story, like that line there. But yes. A weird chapter. It's quite a long chapter for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. A good 13, 14 pages, a bit of a meaty chapter. Not a lot happens. Obviously, we get you know what? You get Wingardium 2000, and we get the Quidditch stuff, and then you've got Wingardium Leviosa, and then the Troll. So quite a bit does happen, but it seems like 2 very separate parts, like the Halloween, because the first part of that chapter, like all the Quidditch stuff, looks like it takes a month before. It's literally the day after Fluffy. So that's very far away from Halloween, and then next second it's Halloween now. 2 months have passed. Very sort of split up chapter. I don't think it's better than the last chapter. I still think that's probably been the best chapter so far, the Midnight Duel. I think the film does the troll thing better. I will say that. And like I said, I don't know why they just can't tell the truth. But whatever. And obviously, I do like the Quidditch stuff. What's basketball? What's football? What's golf? What's rounders? Oh God! What are you saying, Harry? Speak English. But yes, really good chapter. Lots of fun, and it's great that Hermione is now Harry and Ron's friend. You've got to get some good old mischief. She becomes a bit relaxed. She helps Harry out, as we will see in chapter 11, Quidditch, where we go into our first game. There's going to be some good stuff in there again. I think that's quite a big chapter as well. Let's have a look. So it starts on 3-3. It goes all the way to... it's 10 pages, that chapter. So we've got 10 fun-packed pages of Quidditch, Snape's leg, and maybe a mention of a Nicholas Flamel. So I'll say thank you all so much for watching this video. Of course, do leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you all soon for another episode of Potterwatch. Have a great week.